Your Storm Team 2 forecast first, sponsored by Window World.
After some cold nights, we promised you some warmer days ahead. We're starting now as we saw temperatures in the 60s this afternoon. Now we're right now in the 50s, 57 degrees is the current temperature. Looking live over towards downtown Charleston. We do have some 40s on the map right at 40 King Street, 50 Georgetown, heading down to Folly Beach. That's the warm spot right now at 59. Hey, feeling okay over at the Weather Network station at Palmetto Islands County Park, 55. And here are the numbers we're waking up to as we get out the door tomorrow morning. 51 at 6 a.m., but by lunchtime, beautiful at 70. More about the weekend forecast, a little sneak peek in just a few. News 2 at 11 starts right now.
Now, Count on 2, live and local in the Lowcountry. This is News 2 at 11.
The death of Elijah Weatherspoon ruled not a homicide, but lots of questions remain. I'm Katie Turner, and I spoke with a lawmaker who called on SLED to investigate.
Major developments in the fight against COVID-19. Governor McMaster with new measures to keep South Carolina students safe, plus an exclusive interview with one of the state's top doctors talking about a vaccine.
And in Washington, Congress leaving for Thanksgiving break without passing a COVID-19 relief package. How much longer families will have to wait. These stories straight ahead. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Carolyn Murray.
It's good to have you here. I'm Brendan Clark. New tonight, the body of a missing Charleston man has been located. Coast Guard crews say the man disappeared after his fishing boat capsized near Harbor Island in Beaufort County earlier this week. Authorities say 50-year-old Don Melcock was found near St. Helena Sound. We are also following developing news tonight. The death of Elijah Weatherspoon was ruled not a homicide. This after a 5-month-long investigation by state law enforcement. Weatherspoon died on June 25th after falling out of a boat. With controversy surrounding the event, led many to form a petition calling for a SLED investigation. News 2's Katie Turner spoke with a lawmaker who was one of those petitioners and joins us now with the latest. Katie?
Hey, Brendan, like you said, this investigation has been ongoing for the last 5 months, trying to figure out what happened that day Elijah Weatherspoon went missing. And I spoke with local leaders who tell me we might finally have answers. The answers friends and family have been searching for may finally come to light. A 561-page report conducted by SLED investigating the death of Elijah Weatherspoon. What we know now, they have determined his death was not a homicide.
The biggest thing is about transparency, is about finding the truth, ensuring that we can let the community know whether there was foul play involved or not.
Nearly 250,000 community members signed a petition calling for SLED to investigate. Representative Marvin Pendarvis then pushed for a thorough investigation.
Reached out to Chief Keel at SLED, and he was more than willing to start the investigation. And so I think I asked for that letter Wednesday or Thursday. They had a SLED agent in Charleston by Friday.
Some family members noting he was the only person of color on the boat, and whether or not that played a factor in his death. According to Solicitor Scarlett Wilson, there's no evidence of any assaultive behavior that could have led to him falling overboard. And multiple witnesses can confirm that his companions made heroic efforts to try and save him. Officials say the remaining details will soon be revealed.
It's my belief that that investigation was thorough, and as we pour through the pages of the report, any questions that remain will be answered. Whether people like the answers to those questions is one thing, whether people are satisfied with those answers, but I think the questions will be answered.
I did reach out to the Weatherspoon's lawyer for comment and have not heard back quite yet, but we'll be staying on top of this story on air and online on CountOn2.com. Reporting live in Mount Pleasant, I'm Katie Turner, Count on 2.
And developing news to tell you about right now. After thoroughly recounting, President-elect Biden wins Georgia, flipping the state for Democrats. That's according to the Associated Press. They also say the state election officials said a hand tally of ballots confirmed his lead over President Trump. This is the first time Georgia voted for a Democratic presidential candidate since Bill Clinton in 1992. 1,410 new cases of COVID-19 confirmed in our state, bringing the total number of cases to more than 189,000. Also, 17 confirmed deaths reported today, bringing that total to 3,924. Governor McMaster shared advice for South Carolinians celebrating Thanksgiving next week. The governor was joined by state health officials for a news conference earlier this evening. News 2 State House reporter Jason Raven tells us what the governor said and the measures the state will take to slow the spread of COVID-19.
Governor McMaster is asking South Carolinians to do things a little differently for Thanksgiving this year. He's recommending having smaller groups and multiple tables and making sure things are spaced out. But he's also asking South Carolinians to get tested before traveling for the holiday. McMaster used the phrase "test before turkey" to encourage people to take some precautions to slow the spread of COVID-19. The governor says every South Carolinian who wants to get tested can get tested and know the results in a short amount of time. Now, in addition to these recommendations from the governor, he also announced rapid testing kits will be on their way to schools in South Carolina.
In the coming days, I will be issuing an executive order directing the Department of Health and Environmental Control to provide every school district with COVID-19 testing kits so that students, teachers, and staff can be tested on a regular basis.
The state health officials say these kits will be in schools in early December, and students would need parental permission before getting tested. They are also anticipating receiving a limited supply of COVID-19 vaccines later this year or early next year. The state health department says they expect a COVID-19 vaccine to be more generally available to the public later on in 2021. In Lexington County, I'm Jason Raven.
State leaders calling on Governor McMaster, who says they need a heavier hand to stop COVID-19 in the state. State Representative Wendell Gilliard wrote a letter to the governor saying that mandating face masks could save lives. In the letter, Gilliard says, previously I've written to request to move the pen to paper and make it a mandate for all citizens to wear a protective face mask. This would help in saving lives. Now, he went on to say, for now, I know that South Carolina is a red state, but it should not be painted with the red blood of innocent souls that could have lived by simply wearing a mask. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention today recommended Americans don't travel over the Thanksgiving Day holiday. This as coronavirus cases spike and we enter flu season. I spoke one-on-one with state epidemiologist Dr. Linda Bell this afternoon about a vaccine, the twindemic, and how long she thinks we'll have to live like this.
So my concern is that we don't learn from our history.
During our conversation, Dr. Bell says although there is COVID fatigue, a pandemic going on 9 months now, people need to remain vigilant, saying we can control numbers and avoid a shutdown.
And so even though we're tired and we're weary of the impact that this is having on our population, if we get too weary and begin relaxing these measures and taking this for granted, we'll be worse off.
Despite the spike, Dr. Bell says the state is working to make sure a COVID vaccine is distributed in an efficient and timely manner.
We're looking into every aspect of the logistics of getting that vaccine where it needs to be to reach the high-risk populations. We have plans in place.
And while the governor says test before the turkey, Dr. Bell says it may be better to stay home and sit this holiday out.
You're increasing the risk with travel, and you're potentially putting your loved ones at risk.
With COVID cases increasing and flu season here, the importance of staying healthy. As a recent report says, South Carolina is the 11th least prepared state when it comes to hospital bed capacity.
That is something that needs to be closely monitored and is a concern.
But even with a COVID vaccine on the way, Dr. Bell says life won't change dramatically after it's arrived.
We will continue to have to use the masks, continue to physically distance, avoid large groups, practice good hygiene, because those are very effective means that we have at hand and are widely available. And we've got to keep doing that until we have a much larger proportion of the population vaccinated, and that's months down the road.
Dr. Bell said the single thing she recommends the most right now, getting a flu shot as soon as possible.
Lawmakers are beginning to head home for Thanksgiving without passing a COVID relief package. The big question remains, when will that relief come? And not even lawmakers know the answers.
Senator Graham seems ready to meet Democrats in the middle in an effort to get a COVID-19 relief bill through Congress before the end of the year.
What I would like to focus on now is a relief package. In South Carolina, our economy is hanging pretty tenuous.
When Congress returns the first week of December, they will have just 15 days until the 116th Congress ends. Then January 3rd, the new Congress is sworn in. They'll have to start from scratch. Restaurants are having to rethink how they operate for Thanksgiving Day dinner. Tavern and Table, one restaurant in Mount Pleasant, say they're trying to keep the tradition of coming together as long as all are healthy to do so. For those looking to dine in, that restaurant is open for reservations and will serve a full 3-course traditional turkey dinner, along with other substitutions. As for those wary of eating out, they also have a take and bake option, as they're calling it. You can pre-order their 3-course meal, take it home, and just warm it up.
We definitely feel like it's, as long as you do it safely, getting together with your family, this is a great time of year to do that in a safe environment. And we're very fortunate here with our outside dock space and extra space that we can space our tables out and give people that extra room to make them feel comfortable and safe here.
The restaurant is still accepting reservations, but walk-ins and seating at the bar are also available. They do ask that you enter into the restaurant with a mask and wear it until you are seated.
Next on News 2.
Unwanted robocalls, illegal calls, and text messages. We all get them. Tonight, we take a look at what you can do to stop the ring before they have a chance to connect.